Good morning. We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree?
Yes.
You are knowing what you are wanting. Co-creating its best, really. We see you have dragged your physical bodies here. You like being in those bodies. You like being focused here in this time, space, reality with so much around you to observe. Do you like it?
Yes.
Do you like the variety from which you can choose? Do you realize that it is all about choosing, like a buffet? In other words, you don't have to put things on your plate if you have already discovered that you don't like them. You can leave everything out of your experience that you don't like. But you have to understand how it is that you are choosing is different than those big spoons, isn't it? Where you just scoop it up and put it on. It's different when you realize that you are vibrational beings and that you are choosing vibrationally, which means you are choosing by your attention to something. You are literally creating your own life experience, and in very direct terms, you are constructing your life. You're constructing it thought by thought, word by word, mood by mood. In other words, as you observe and form an opinion, and the opinion makes you cranky, you're constructing pathways to things that when they get there, you're not going to like them. When you are observing and enjoying, when you are observing and appreciating, when you are taking pleasure from your focused attention, then that uplifted feeling that you find is your indication that what you are constructing is a pleasing thing. If you've been listening to us for a while, you've been hearing us say you are the creator of your own reality. But it's almost as if you don't believe that, or you don't understand how it is that you create, because you're not always that deliberately focused and therefore deliberately constructing pathways to things wanted. And the reason for that, we understand, part of it is you need some experience in order to come to your focused conclusions about what you want to focus upon. Certainly, that's part of this diverse universe. You want choices in order to choose. But a lot of people talk and think and speak and read and blog and read and talk and speak and think and blog about a lot of things that they don't want. And it is as if they don't realize that they're constructing pathways. We're not kidding you. If you could see an aerial view where law of attraction is gathering the cooperative components, you would understand that a little bit of attention to a subject causes you to emit a signal that makes you part of the stream of consciousness relative to that. So not only do you contribute to this faster moving, more robust stream, but you make sure that you are constructing pathways that include you in an experiential way, in a manifestational way, in a real life experience way in the process of that. In other words, the manifestation will show you the pathways that you have carved out. So when we talk about deliberate creation, when we talk about the science of deliberate creation, when we talk about the powerful law of attraction, when we talk about the art of allowing, what we're talking about is you consciously recognizing that you are all day, every day, in every waking moment. Because in every waking moment, you are focused upon something. Whether you are pondering the past, you're still focused. Whether you're observing the present, you're still focused. Whether you are imagining into the future, wanted or unwanted, you're still focused. And in that focusing of your attention, you are constructing pathways. Pathways created by you and augmented and, in fact, completely enhanced and supported by the powerful law of attraction, who is bringing the cooperative components that represent what you have constructed every step along the way. Surely you've noticed that you can have something that's not that interesting to you that someone brings up over dinner, and as you have just the briefest of dinner time conversations about it, and it's therefore active in your vibration, it begins showing up. You begin noticing it. Suddenly, you're rendezvousing with the television when it's talking about it. Or you're rendezvousing with a headline on a newspaper that's talking about it. Or you're rendezvousing with someone else standing in line at the airport who is talking about it. In other words, you can't give much attention at all to a subject without activating it sufficiently enough in your vibration that you construct pathways. Now, sometimes the pathways that you're constructing aren't significant enough that it requires any of your attention. So you construct a pathway and more of it comes and you think it's interesting or a coincidence or maybe even lucky. You don't realize that it's the law of attraction's natural, efficient response to the vibrational frequency that you are practicing. So what happens with most of our physical human friends is that rather than practicing deliberately in an attitude of everything I think about or talk about, I'm constructing pathways that will end up in manifestation, instead of looking at it that way, most people just think and speak all over the place, talk about the wheel that is squeaking the loudest, or poke around at the problem that is troubling them the most. So many of you have magnificent lives with several factors that are just really wonderful and worthy of conversation, but the things that are working well often aren't the things that get your attention. Those things are working well, why give them any attention? Let me talk about what isn't working. I would like to come to this gathering, sit in this hot seat, and talk about my issue. And we say, and construct a pathway for more deprivation of what you want while you're constructing with a justifying. In other words, we get it. When you're not where you want to be, you want to know why or you want to explain why. As you see other people looking at you, maybe thinking that they're thinking that you should be in a place different than you are, you sort of want to explain why you're there. And so a tremendous amount of your thought, of your construction process, is about explaining why you're standing where you're standing, which just makes sure that you keep standing there longer. Have you noticed? Different places, different faces, but the same old things keep showing up in your experience, not because you constructed a really hefty, hardy thought way or pathway and it's still proving itself to you, but because you keep constructing it. If you would stop today talking about those things that you've been worried about for years or weeks or days, or that thing that started bothering you yesterday, if you would today make a decision that you're not going to talk about it, that you're going to talk about something that is constructing a pathway towards something that you want instead, you know what would happen with that pathway that you've constructed? Even if you'd constructed it for 50 years, 40 years, 30 years, 20 years, 10 years, do you know what would happen with that pathway? It would peter out within 30 days. It would peter out and it would cease to exist. Your point of attraction would no longer be connected to this unwanted thing if you would stop renewing your vibrational connection to it. But most people, because they don't understand law of attraction, they don't even know they're vibrational beings, they don't even know they're emitting a signal, and they certainly don't know that law of attraction is responding to the signal. So they're just out there flowing and blowing all over the place, all kinds of construction of all kinds of things. And then when something unwanted shows up, they go, who knew? It just came out of the blue, they explain. And we say, it did not come out of the blue. It may have come out of the oblivious, but it didn't come out of the blue. It came out of the vibrational construction.